Okay, we've got Tyler here from Drywall Co. He's a contractor out of Oregon. We've been working together for about 3 months now. Why don't you introduce yourself, Tyler, and talk a little bit about your company and what you guys do?
Yeah, hey, so my name's, like Doug mentioned, my name's Tyler Potee. I'm a small drywall contractor in Southern Oregon, a local based company in Oregon, and we actually are moving into the California market. So we specialize in hang tape and textures, and we do a lot of high-end residential remodels, and now breaching with Doug and getting Doug's mentorship, we're going into the more of the commercial side.
When we started working together, we always go over like three problems you're experiencing and then three goals so we can try and hit those goals. Let's start with the three problems that you had and see if those are still problems or if we were able to help you solve them. So, first problem you had was PM leadership. You had your PMs arguing with your subcontractors. Tell us a little bit about what was going on, and then we'll get into if we fix that or not.
Yeah, so prior to Doug's mentorship, we hired a project manager, and I explored the department of wanting to buy back some of my time. So I just hired a guy that I knew of, and didn't when I interviewed him, I didn't really have any prior of knowledge of saying what the duties were in that position. So I was just letting him do what he wanted to do. Show up to work, check on jobs, tape a little bit here and there, check on jobs in between. Like that was basically his SOP. You're to tape jobs, and when jobs are completed, check on them, and then check on jobs that are being hung. And we noticed that like there wasn't really communication within that department. Like we would text each other, and then it would be like it would be like later in the evening I would get a response back, but there was no specific intact of, okay, if I get gas receipts, if we close out a job, like we really didn't have anything going on. It was just by the day, right?
Mhm. No process.
And no process. And what I noticed with other subs is we weren't having. So, for an example, for like when the taping process, the hanging process, we're in the hanging, the scrap happens where they clean up all the scraps and all the waste and floor paper. That process was always getting overlapped to where we would schedule our scrapper, but there would still be hangers there putting on metal, or there'd
Mhm.
be contractor stuff all out in the center of the room.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we had problems with. And when he would talk to these subs, he would be how his personality was with them on the phone. Like it's just it was not his fault, but it was the sub's fault. But we were taking the accountability of it was us because
Yeah.
we weren't checking, right? He wasn't going to the job to check on the job prior to schedule our scrapper. It was
Yeah.
just in the air. We went off of the sub. Hey, are you finished on Monday? Yes, we're finished on Monday. We would schedule on Tuesday, but then they would be there putting on the metal on Tuesday.
They're always a day late.
Exactly. So we noticed that he was just getting in it. He just didn't have the leadership on like dealing with people, because 99% of it is just dealing with someone's behavior, and
Yeah.
that's
It's a
what
people
we,
business for sure.
yep, yep. And that's what we realized prior to your mentorship was we were just going with the flow of things. And that was one issue that we're having with our scrapper of making sure like he wasn't mentioning, he wasn't being passive aggressive. And that's kind of how it was coming off in the beginning. A lot
Yeah.
of just, because he didn't know. He didn't know, it had all the weight on his shoulders. Hey, sink or
Yeah.
swim. And there's no process. But that's what led to that, with no process of other trades being upset.
So what's going on now? Still having that problem?
No, no.
What
Since what changed was that initial talk that we had. I know you mentioned that have leadership meetings twice a week, once a month, to go over leadership in itself, what that entails,
changed?
how we talk to employees, how we talk to other subs. And there was a book that I had them read. It was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale
Yeah.
Carnegie. So
Yeah.
that book right there really changed the how to respond to certain individuals' personalities,
Nice.
on top of the checklist that you've given us to allow to be on top of things during the processes. I feel like that improved a lot due to a checklist, and it was the quality sheetrock inspection checklist.
Yeah.
Because prior, we would just call them and say it's ready for this day. Now shows up to the job, looks over everything, metal's on, boxes of metal are put to the side, any of the contractor's materials are put to the side. Now now his position, the sub's position, is running smoothly due to the checklist
Mhm.
overall. So
And that sets up the next guy too, right? Like making sure all those things are completed, and it's like it's a simple checklist, and it's you or I walk onto a job, we spot these things very quickly. But when you try and pass that off to somebody else, sometimes they forget. Sometimes they just don't know the implications of not doing that, right? So if you have the checklist and they can follow that step by step, and it's the same every time, it works really well. And is it working really well for you guys?
Oh, it's working tremendous.
Yeah,
It's working
that's good.
tremendous. You know,
That's
I'm like 8 hours away from my location right now due to the
yeah.
tech checklist,
Do the
which we'll
checklist.
go over further on. But yeah, like I'm in a whole different state managing my company
Yeah.
due
That's
to
awesome.
one word, one word, the checklist.
Yeah, one word, but there is a bunch of checklists and there's a bunch of processes. But once you figure those out, like you can get super organized really quick. It just you got to think outside the box a little bit and stop trying to do everything yourself or just like letting people do whatever, like what you were doing, right? You didn't really have a process, and you need that process, even if it's written down on a piece of paper, and by hand. And this is just the process we follow every time. At least there's a process to follow. You don't want people making it up as they go, because that's where you can get in trouble, right? And that's what was happening with you guys. So that's problem number one. And the next one kind of leans into that too. And it was you didn't have any SOPs, you didn't have any standard operating procedures, no processes, nothing's written down. That was a problem you were having. Let's talk a bit more about that, because it wasn't just your PM, right? Like it was everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think really what happened, what sparked my mind even prior of us working together was having an SOP because I had my best friend work for me. And there were things that were missed and our relationship was going down the hole due to me having expectation of what he was doing on the job duty, but it was verbal. Hey, did you check the window wraps? Did you check the caulking on the window returns?
And it would change probably every
Yeah,
job,
and
right?
it's like, oh, you forgot to sand the ceiling, but you sand the walls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, this builder's pissed. The painter's this back charged me. There was a
Yeah.
problem happening every time. As soon as he left, then I realized, and that's why I reached out to you as well, was knowing that okay, my processes, I can't. The expectation, like employees want to be mentored, but they don't want to be micromanaged. So
Yeah.
the checklist now it's just a force of habit of the company, a standard. Everyone's doing it, I'm doing it. I showed them how to do it. So now it's always happening to where those conversations don't happen that it happened with my friend.
Yeah.
If I had those checklists, I probably would have still had that friendship. It,
That's what I was going to say. Do you think that kind of, soured the friendship is by doing that, putting
yeah,
that kind of pressure on him without having a process?
100%.
Yeah.
Like we were friends. We were friends at 5 years old. That all of a sudden, that's what happens. It's like a lot of I took an account of having that process and having those systems in place, even if it's your friend or if it's your grandmother or if it's your dad, whoever, it that process is not established and it's built out of toothpicks, which mine was,
Yeah.
that's the result of what would happen,
Yeah.
regardless of who it was.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It's
it's not
just
going to be better.
that mindset and knowing what to do. But yeah, overall, it's improved the SOPs. Before I just Googled SOP, didn't even know what it was. Took one little example off the internet, but you've given us and given me step by step on which department talks to what, how to communicate through departments without you even having to come back and say, hey, look, like how to take the like all the way down to how to take the garbage out, where the
Yeah.
garbage bags are, where they're located,
Yeah.
where's the lockbox at for the mailbox, like things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's
Ours is very detailed and dialed in, man. Like nobody has to ask me any questions. And that's why I share with you guys to show like how detailed ours is. And then it gives you a great basis to start with. And like you said, like right down to where the mailbox key is, where the garbage bags are to change the garbage in the office. Because, if our admin leaves and we hire another one, they're all going to be looking to me or looking to somebody. What do we do? And it's just not going to get done, or they're going to be looking to me to solve it. And this way, we have a whole system for them to follow, and they can get onboarded really fast. And that works, in the office, on site, wherever. And you've implemented all of that really quick, and it's, worked really, really well for you so far.
yeah,
You've got a lot of things organized and straightened out for sure.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, we're miles away from my location
Yeah.
due to the once a week meetings every Tuesday. We go over
Mhm.
that job board layout, the checklist, the project checklist that you've given us to really dive in deep on feeling like there's confidence. Our project manager has confidence. All of our
Mhm.
employees have confidence knowing that we see what's going on, what the stage of the process is. When there wasn't in the beginning, he'd be working on a project. The PM, when he was taping, he'd be working on a project out of town, and he'd feel like he didn't know anything was going on with the
Yeah.
company. He
Yeah.
didn't
You
know.
know everything that's going on, but nobody else does.
Yeah, I knew what was going on, but it was like hard to relay that over due to the layout and how to structure those meetings, those weekly meetings. That there's always something that needs to be done, needs to be said. New change orders sent out, like
Yeah.
the follow up on the estimate, where we're at in the process. All of that. I haven't missed an invoice since we've started with that. I haven't missed an invoice. I haven't missed where we should bill for certain phases, or if there was change orders in those phases. Like this, everything's organized.
And that's great. Like that's just another system, right? Like it's all systems. And there's a good saying, like run the systems, not the people. Before you were running the people, like your friend, you were running him, expecting him to know what to do, verbally telling him all the time. There was no system for him to follow. And now that there's systems for everybody to follow, things are running like a top, really. Like things are
I
running.
called him. I said, "You want to come back and work with us?" He's like, "No."
Maybe you should send him all the SOPs and checklists you have. So we've actually have a job description for your position now, and like we have a whole system of process. Maybe we can do something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He'll come around, man. Okay, so that's two problems. The third one was having consistent work. Let's talk about kind of where your sales were, where you wanted them to go, and where you're at now. Like, do you have consistent work now?
Yeah, yeah. Excuse me. I was out there prior to our mentorship. I was just hitting the roads, no system, like you were saying. Like I was just hitting the roads, following up. I was doing what I was taught on door to door sales, taking that method and trying to put it into the drywall world. It's a little different
Which
because you're dealing
works,
with guys. It's
right?
works, but you're dealing with contractors too that don't answer their phones,
Yeah,
that don't even know how to send an email or
yeah,
open up an email.
yeah,
So site visits were more of like, hey, our sales game has changed due to me actually pushing to like, hey, there's other drywallers working with the company, right? Let me be your best number two guy. That's one thing that I'd always talk about was, hey, I know you currently have a drywall company. Let us be your best number two guy for all your drywall needs. Let us take your overflow work. And that's how to get a foot
yeah.
in. We'd always get a foot in that way to where rather than, calling them site visits, but they're more like face to face business, put a face to the name, shake the hand.
Mhm.
And working with you, I've noticed contacts equal contracts. The more people you talk to, the more business you could bring in and all
Absolutely.
that.
I always say the more hands you shake, the more money you make. You just got to get out there and like meet people. Everybody thinks that they can just, sit at home and wait for leads, wait for the phone to ring, or you can just run ads. Ads are great for certain things, but you can't just rely on one source. You really just got to get out there, network, meet people, especially if you're going after general contractors. Ads don't really work for general contractors. Like you said, you got to get in front of them. You got to meet these people. A lot of their decisions on who they hire are based on how they feel about you. Like, can I work with this guy every day? Can he actually finish a job? Do I think he can actually finish a job? Is he going to be fair to me? And that's all based on relationships, right? And you just got to get out there and build them. So you being the number two, how did that work? Telling people just, let me get my foot in the door. Let me do something. Did that turn into a lot of like you showing them how great you guys were and how good of a service you had? And then you became their number one?
Yeah. So there was a big company established in the Rogue Valley. There were like a restoration and construction company, one combined. So they do flood cutouts,
Mm-hmm.
3 feet up the wall, cut around all the perimeter, repatch it, tape it,
Yeah.
match orange peel or whatever texture they had, right? Level 5. So we noticed that for me using the number two guy, I kind of became that local, not local celebrity, but like the number two guy, like, hey, he's that's what got me in the door was being your number two guy. And once I became the number two guy, then I realized I added value to one, the checklist, showing them our process, showing them how we have the pre-inspection, showing them we have the post-inspection of the sheetrock, the post-taping, the sand and cleanup, fully out of there, done, turned over to the builder, showing them his processes, shown them that, okay, they have their stuff together. This is a brand new company, the underdogs, because I've noticed a lot of people like the underdogs. A lot of
Yeah.
companies like to work with the underdog, and we're an underdog. We've only been
Yeah.
in business for, last year was our first year in business,
Hmm.
you know? And so we realized that being the number two guy, and then just 3 months ago, still saying we're the number, prior, I would say the number two guy, but it would just be the same services I was offering the last company was offering. I was just more of on the phone, answering the phone.
Yeah.
That was our different. That's how we differentiate us from the competition, due to where I would answer the phone and we would attack it immediately when a problem would happen. But now, when I would go and sit and just like that contract that we got for the apartment complex out here in California, I showed him two checklists: the pre-inspection, the quality, the sheetrock quality inspection. He grabbed them, took them with him, and then we signed a $400,000 contract off of the
Based
sheet.
on based on those checklists.
So it
Just
offered what it was first. Let me be your best number two guy. The same sales pitch. And then we realized, hey, right when I sat over, right when we sat for lunch, I slide those checklists over. He looked at all of them, said, oh, yeah, we do this too, but there's a lot of things that we don't put on here. And he was reading. And I feel like that just established us as like a corporation
mhm.
working with, because it's another corporation. They're
Yeah.
leaders here in the area. And I just feel like it showed value just with those checklists, just giving those checklists to him for his next project won us that contract.
It showed that you had a process and that you knew the job in and out, right? And like all the details involved. And that's what works with my company too. Like with Mackenzie Drywall, we can get on the phone with somebody and we can sell ourselves so easily. Say we're doing a multifamily, we can walk them through that whole job about how we do pre-drywall and how let's use dense glass instead of drywall, so we can get started earlier and get all the trades in there earlier. And we're going to do the mechanical rooms first, so the electricians have something to do. We go over that spiel with them. They're like, you've done this before, eh? We've done hundreds of these things, and like that helps build that trust. And that's how we created those checklists. And we use the same style of thing, right? So glad those have helped, man. You get a $400,000 job with a couple pieces of paper, just crazy.
That's just one of them.
Yeah, that's just one. Yeah, we'll have to get more into that about this whole thing, because you've made some big gains in the last 3 months. It's only been 3 months, man. It's crazy how much you've accomplished in 3 months. Okay, so those were the top three problems. The top three goals kind of tie right into there too. Obviously, you're having problems. Your goal is to get rid of those problems. So let's go over the top three goals. First one was systems, and I think you gave me this quote, and it was nail it before I scale it, because you wanted to grow, but you were kind of scared to grow because everything's going to fall apart once you do. You're barely keeping everything together now. So we've already talked a bunch about systems, but let's get into more about the systems and those checklists that won you that job, and kind of where that's taken you now, and the confidence that you have just after our first call. Let's talk about the changes that happened after that.
Yeah. So our first call, prior to that, there was always missed window wraps, window returns, the spray foam around the window returns, like little details like that. I was always missing prior. Since the pre-checklist, I have not had one problem missed, because we sign off for the whoever the super is or the builder is, they sign off on that. So
Nice.
one, it has given me the confidence knowing that, okay, I can take on more work now, due to knowing that I can catch these little errors. Those little errors will turn into big problems. We four-way wrap all the windows, and they're
Mhm.
off. The window returns are a little off. Top is wider and the bottom like barely even see, or the sides one comes in. It's like that has changed to where it's given me the confidence to go out there and get more builders, in which we
Yeah.
can. Now I know we could bite on more than we could bite on more, and we
And
can actually deliver.
what was it you told me right after our first meeting? You said, I've got the confidence now to go after commercial jobs. Like I've got the guys to do it. I've always been kind of scared to jump into that space, but I think with your systems and everything you have in place, I'm confident I can do it. And literally, it was like the next week, you went out and got that apartment building.
Well, and what's funny is, do you remember our first call when I was in the hospital? My wife was delivering her son. My
Yeah.
first call with you was that second day of me being in the hospital, barely any sleep.
Yeah.
Wasn't that next day I texted you? We're still in the hospital. The next day I texted you the email confirmation that we could bid on that commercial job down in
Yeah.
Oregon, and that's when you asked what changed. It was off of that first meeting. Being in a group, and seeing like-minded individuals, we come in at different levels. Like
Mhm.
there's guys that come in, there's girls and guys that come in at pre, they could have a $5 million a year business. It's that me being around that environment realized like, okay, let's just take the shot. One, I had you as a mentor knowing that if I had questions that I needed to ask, you had those answers. I don't
Yeah.
think there's not one question I asked you that you've answered. Like you've answered all of them, given me mindset through them. And it's like, what do you not know at this point? You know, because it's like you've helped them
I've made all the mistakes, man.
literally. Exactly. So I think it was like not holding my hand through the deal, but it was, hey, coaching like a legends, or like they wanted a schedule of values. Some of these commercial companies wanted schedule of values. I had no idea what that was. I didn't want an email the builder saying, what's a schedule of values? How do you lay that out? And that was our $400,000 contract that we got for the apartments, the schedule of
Yeah.
values. I was sitting there looking at them, Googling them. There's nothing on the internet about it. I'm like, wait, let me jump in. Let me ask Doug. In seconds, you're like, lay out this, lay out that, put it this way. I sent it to them. I sent it to them earlier than any other trade has on the project, and it was exactly right and how they wanted it.
Nice. And
And
like
that's like
the,
there's
the way I've the way I've built our estimating spreadsheet, as we build our quote, which I've shared that spreadsheet with you, as we build that quote, it's creating a schedule of values for me because that's something that I have to submit all the time. And there's a time I had no idea what the schedule of values is, and I had to figure it out. And back then, there wasn't really coaches, mentors, anything like that. So I was just like feeling my way through the dark, man. And I don't remember the first time I had to do it, but I know that it was rough. I do remember that. They gave me a layout of what they wanted. And by the end of the job, the numbers were like off. And I was like, shit, I've like under invoiced, man. I should have invoiced more. Now there's still a bunch left on this job. Now I got to explain this. And I had to like tell them, I screwed this up. But it was because I used their spreadsheet too. It was like super complicated. So that's when I created my own. Like people are going to ask me for this. I'm just going to do it myself and send it out before anyone even asks. And that's what we do now. And it works really well. But yeah, you asked me about that. That's something I'm familiar with for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and I believe not believe, but I know 100% your estimating modules have shown me where we should put the profit, where our markup is. That's confidence right there, knowing that I could buy it on this project. If I don't get it, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
don't, like you say, I don't have to get every project, but there's
Yep.
confidence. One, knowing, okay, if there's a problem, I could ask you. The modules show you step by step how to lay it out. Award-winning proposals due
Mm-hmm.
to what to say, how to say it, how to lay it out, what to send them, how to position that over to the next team member. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's just all there. ABC, copy and paste. I think that's what I've done. It's just copy and paste what you said. Copy and
Yeah.
paste, didn't sit on it. You told me to take action, or not even telling me to take action. It's just more of, you laid it out. Here's case studies with the other team members that are in the, or the other companies that are within the mentorship program. It's just seeing this company that goes through this problem. Okay, this problem. It's just overall confidence. One, the how to bid it is number one. To see even where the numbers are,
Mm-hmm.
and then following through, delivering with a checklist,
Yeah.
and then having those SOPs within the positions of which position, PM, their weekly meetings with their manpower allocated, which manpower, who's going to be on this job. Everything just plugs in. You have it step by step on the beginning of the job and to the end of the job, and what to do in between that.
Yeah.
And that's where
And
the confidence
I
comes
always
from.
try and tell people like everything that I've built to scale to 6 million is simple. Like everything's simple. It's scalable, right? Simple scales, fancy fails. So everything I've taught you is fairly simple, right? Like obviously it's taken me a long time to get there, but for me to pass it to you and you to implement it into your company has been a very easy process, right?
Yeah, I was implementing things the first day when I was on the course. Listened to it for like an hour, and I was already implementing where my numbers should be.
Yeah.
Budgeting, how, here's my overhead where I need to be. Sometimes, yeah, the 35% markup, sometimes it will have to be 40, depends on how much overhead I have.
Yeah.
Or it could be 25 due to the lower, but yeah, still sitting at 35, but our numbers could change due to putting every label, how many car loans we have, what's our office overhead, seeing, you built these spreadsheets to know where your numbers, where you're at, and where you should be moving forward, and not losing profit on the job, then wondering where I should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another thing of what you asked was, for how's that for finding jobs and keeping jobs. that confidence I went in with knowing what I've learned from you. And then now, I've told you this on the last call, our PM hasn't sat once.
Yeah. Seven. He's
Before
been
my
busy
first
months.
yeah, before my first question to you, one of my first questions to you was that threshold of having jobs set up for the next week or the next month. And you're mentioning commercial jobs, how, 60-day payment terms, that, okay, there's always money coming in if we do a couple commercial jobs a month, where there's always money coming in. It's just everything has flipped to where it's now word of mouth. Yes, we're doing ads. We're doing like what you taught. We're doing ads. We're doing Nextdoor, Yelp, like all these things in the US, like Yelp, Nextdoor. We just created like a pool of just leads coming in from all these different sources. But I've noticed that word of mouth has got us one of the biggest builders in Southern Oregon.
Word of mouth is great, man. You can't just rely on word of mouth because it only travels so far. So that's why you got to do all these other avenues. And like maybe a job that you got from running an ad will create word of mouth and get you an apartment building, right? That's why it's good to just have stuff coming in from everywhere, because obviously it's networking, man. Like I say, the more hands you shake, the more money you make, right? Like you're just meeting people everywhere, and this person knows that person. That's literally how I've got like all of my work is, just by jumping from this person to that person, and this guy hears about me and hears about the good job we did, and it keeps going and going and going. But a lot of guys just want to rely on that when they start out, right? Like they'll do a basement for somebody and that guy says, hey, I'm going to recommend you to four of my buddies. Well, that never happens, man. Right?
Or the price cut. Hey, if you give me a good deal in here, I'll
Yeah.
give you 10 more houses that we're building.
Yeah, and he never does, right? You give him a good deal, and then he pretty much bankrupts you because you do the house for free, and you're like, I don't want to work with this guy anymore, and he never is going to give you another house anyways. So, yeah, that's good, man. Like systems change everything. And we had a conversation before about systems and about people, and I said like, usually it's a systems problem, not a people problem. And if you're having a problem with somebody and something's going south, check the system first. Do I have a system for this? Do I have a process for it? If you don't, that's on you as the business owner. If you do have a system for it, recorrect the person that's following the system, make sure they're following it right. If they still can't follow that system, then you have a people problem. Get rid of that guy and get somebody else in the door. But 90% of the time, it's a systems problem. And that's what you were experiencing. It was a systems problem, not a people problem, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like we talked about prior, I'm in a whole different state managing my drywall company.
Let's talk about where you've went in 3 months. You were literally doing what, 65K a month when we started working together. Where are you at now? Where are you living now? What's happened in 3 months? You had a baby.
So 3 months ago, it was the project manager. It was about four of us, just running hard, me being out in the field selling, not knowing. Hopefully, I could get to California. That nervousness, because I've always wanted to get to California, open up I want to franchise Drywall Co. one day. So it's like that whole nother market out there, whole demographic, everything's different. But I always have to worry, like, how am I going to do it? Is my company going to tank? I've seen other companies tank in situations like this, but I've had it on the back of my mind when I moved to California. That was the first month of nervousness, but then I was switching the processes, and I wasn't focused on going to California. I was focused on the moment of strengthening within the positions. And then we did that. And then the second month, we started rolling. The first month, actually, let me, we're in chapter 1. The first month for sales, we're like, 65, 70, 75K between there, 65, 80. And then we just started blowing up. We started getting more leads due to being on every platform. I just went haywire on every single platform, Thumbtack, everything, that any lead source you could think of. Mm-hmm. And then I hired an estimator and had that estimator on his free time cold call. So I have an estimator cold calling. When he's not estimating, he's cold calling or following up with or current buildings, letting them know, doing just a friendly follow-up. If there's any patches, anything that we need to take care of, that relationship management side of things. Mm-hmm. He has closed a couple deals now. One was like 50,000. It was him and our office assistant has closed this this storage unit complex. Mm-hmm. And every storage bay is having sheetrock in it. Dense glass on one side, 5/8 on the other. So like every unit, dude, there's tons of units in this thing.
That was them finding the job, pricing the job, winning the job.
Yeah. So he found it. He priced it. I was just looking it over. He found it, priced it. This is me teaching that other employee the system and processes. He did it within like the first month of working with me, first couple weeks.
And was he like an experienced estimator when he came to you?
Zero.
Zero estimating experience. So how did you train him
Zero.
to be an estimator?
Zero. I was like, hey, go and watch. I showed him the platform. I gave him my sign. And I said, go and study this module. And he studied it and was taking off projects exactly how you shown it the next week. He's done probably over 40 projects already off Plan Swift, step by
Over
step.
40. He's estimated over 40 projects.
Probably more than that. I wish I could screen share and show my
Yeah.
spreadsheets, but probably more than that. But he is like dialed in now. He could get them done. At first, it was taking him about almost an hour. Now he's doing it in 20 minutes.
Nice. And that was all from the training that we provided, all the estimating
Residential
training.
homes. Yeah,
Yeah.
20 minutes, knocking them out, showing the window wraps, linear foot, how much metal we need for the stand-ups, no coat, anything like that. Like he takes it off, puts it in email, then we do as you taught, then we do a screen share, I approve it and then send it over. So he has flourished, which hiring him has even made us grow even faster because now there was me. I had to take some time off when we had our son. But then our office assistant was getting excited on knowing, like, okay, I want to be part of that growth. So she started cold calling too when she wasn't busy. And then she landed a deal. And then that's when I talked with you. I'm like, hey, how can I show? I don't want to talk to the PM because the project manager wasn't bringing, like, he was out trying to get some jobs too on his free time, which now we don't really have much free time because of how fast we're going. But prior, when we were implementing these new strategies, it was just, we were seeing what works. And then that's when you mentioned that having those weekly meetings going over like, hey, this is what they did, that employee showcase, like here's what they brought in, or here's what they achieved, and just giving that recognition during the meetings. And gosh, like for the first month that I was with you, I think we closed over 300,000. I think the first month closed business, not 300,000 deposited, but like closed business that month.
Yeah.
And then the second month we were pushing to like 5, 6, and then like 45-day time frame.
You did over 7 the 1 month.
Yeah. Okay. Because I showed you the spreadsheet. Then we did like 1,040,000 in 45 days closed business. That's with the apartment complex. That's with the storage unit company. That's with another small apartment complex here in California.
So you did $1 million. Yeah, it was over $1 million in the first 45 days that we worked together. So I want to say it was like 700 the first month, or it was 300 the first month, 700 the second, either or. It was something like that, but it was over $1 million in 45 days closed business. What'd you do in sales last year?
Gosh, we did like a little over 1.2. 1.2 and some change.
So it took you all year to sell 1.2 last year, and it took you
That was
45
with 2 guys.
days.
That was with me and my best friend. I was working 100 hours a week.
100 hours a week. Now it took you 45 days to sell over $1 million. And how much were you working in those 45 days?
I probably worked, being humbly, if I could remember, probably 3 hours, if that.
Dude, every time I talked to you, you're home. You just had a baby. You were like on maternity leave.
Yeah, the only time I was working was verifying those estimates.
You did a good job at like implementing the systems quickly and giving that to your people. Like, hey, this is what we're going to do now, and we're not doing anything else. Like, let's just follow this. And then you ran the systems, not the people. Whereas you just like kept refining those systems instead of telling people what to do. No, we're going to refine the system. This is how the process works. If it messes up, we're going to refine the system once again, right? And that's the way to do it. That's how you grow.
Yeah, it's burning that department down for us. Like when we fell with prior employees, it's just burning that department down, rebuilding it.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like like I am working. Here's the thing is, yes, probably 3 hours out of the last, gosh, 3 months, this whole like half of the year almost. Prior, when I was with you, I was still like maybe part-time, but managing the employees, didn't know. I was spending too much time. When you had the system, I worked hard implementing it. I didn't sit around. I implemented, here's the process, here's what we need to do, had the meetings, had the hard conversations with our PM. Hey, this sub doesn't like how you're talking to him. That's hard conversations.
Yeah.
Had the hard conversations, bought back my time, and then sat for that 3 months, probably 4 months now, we're going almost on 4 months.
Yeah.
3 months, the full 3 months, would just say, due to having those hard conversations and then putting the PM through tests, through
Hmm.
like the hard test of, okay, texting builders saying, hey, this job needs to be completed next week, let them know, see how he functions under stress. Then I put him through test, and then I realized, like, okay, hold, like, everything's getting uploaded to the drive, which you show how to label. And I think you mentioned, like, why put stuff in a filing cabinet through paper? You could put everything on Google Drive, and you show that in your processes.
I'm Mackenzie Drywall is 100% paperless. I'm so proud of that. The last time I was there, I literally like dragged the filing cabinets out to the road and I put a free sign on them because we are 100% paperless. And I
Yeah.
challenge everybody to try and do it because trying to keep paper copies sucks, as you know. Do you still have a
Yep.
filing cabinet?
Yep. No, we don't. Real quick, I just want to show, like, just everything's on the drive. At any second, I could
You
pull
can
up.
access it
I could click
anywhere
it.
from your phone, from your laptop. Like it doesn't matter. It's amazing. And that's
Like, I could click it, and
big
then
stuff.
there's a checklist. There's all the things. Like, I could click, boom. What I want
Yeah.
to see. Is there a
Every
signature on
project's there. The drawings are there for it. The checklist is there. The quotes there. The proposals there. It's so easy to go back and figure out. You know, guys create this stuff. They email it, and then they have no idea where it is. And if they need to find something, they're like searching through their emails for it, and they
That's what
can't
we're
find it.
doing prior.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing. It's just the confidence. Like, yeah, we're in a different state, but I know for a fact that the business is running how it should.
yeah.
My
You got
my promise is to be there once a week with the employees, making sure that everything's running smoothly. At any second, I know what's going on. Yeah, I haven't worked in business for like maybe 3 hours, but at any second, I could look, drive to a job, and know exactly where we're at. One time, our PM looked at me and was like, "How? Wait, you were just on vacation with the paternity leave?" And they're like, "Hey, you're something. How do you know?" Because I get an update. Then I get weekly. Then I get daily updates on where our projects are, addresses, hanging phase, taping phase, where we're at, completion, sand and cleanup checklists is in to the drive. Like, it's just full confidence. I can't say much more of it. It's just 100% full confidence. I took the risk starting my business when we first had our daughter. $10,000 negative through another contractor subbing a job out, just screwed me over.
yeah,
You showed me that. Now, like, it's just, I can't exaggerate it. It's every process you have a system for.
yeah,
Okay, your contracts for the subs, the payment terms, the checking their work before they get paid. I just paid this guy on a job. Okay, here you go. Ran with 10,000. Didn't even blocked me. Didn't even get back to me.
Took 10 grand and then blocked your number
Yeah, that's
because
on
you
my
had no
social media.
process, man.
Yeah. That's It's just what I've learned from you is everything has a process. There's not one thing that should not have a process. Everything should have a process. How do you answer the phone?
Yeah.
You know,
Literally, our SOP for admin answering the phone is like, says right at the start, smile when answering the phone. And this is exactly what you say, like, hello, this is so and so. Thank you for calling Mackenzie Drywall. We have that written down. A lot of times when we have a new admin, we'll like paste that right to their desk in front of them so that, when they answer the phone, they remember. So then everything's always the same. Like everything's always the same at Mackenzie Drywall. As soon as you start making things all different all the time and like people don't really know what's going on, then your contractors lose trust in you, clients lose trust, right? Like even employees will lose trust. Trust is huge. Trust and communication are like the two biggest things in construction, and it's like the two things that everybody lacks on too. Communication is huge, man. People are not good at communicating in construction.
no, that's the thing. And due to the fast tracking of knowing what you established and teaching me, like, I'm 26 years old. I'm a young drywall contractor. Have a
Yeah,
family, have 2 kids, a wife. Grown as fast as I'm growing, it's just my dad's a contractor and he just doesn't believe. He just can't fathom on how fast we're growing. He just doesn't know how we're doing it.
yeah,
And he's like, man, I'm not. He calls me sometimes like, hey, I'm not on your scale yet, but it's like I'm. It's just I'm not on anyone's scale. I'm just doing it. I'm
yeah,
implementing, and it's just growing. I had to let our team lead. I had to let them lead when they knew what to do, and then I'm just looking at a bird's eye view of going, okay, like they're doing this, they're doing that, but one checklist has not been missed since we started. That I've received them. Our meetings, our invoicing, like everything's just smooth, and like I went to Hawaii prior to when I jumped on with you, and I had to still work. I had to still hop on. Now I could forward my phone over and just not answer anything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think I don't want to try it, but I feel right now how it's set up. I'm gonna try it. I'm trying it now. I'm here, so we'll see within the next couple of months to the next 6 months to see
Yeah, like
how.
you're in California now, right? Like I don't know if we said this, but yeah, you literally moved to California. Your company's in Oregon. Now you're going to operate in both states,
Yeah,
and like that's
I could
crazy.
focus on here. I could focus on California, me rebuilding it to where, yeah, I could have a conversation at the end of the day. Hey, where we're at. Talk,
Yeah,
just send a text, quick call. But it's not like quick call turns into an hour long conversation. Then I'm like working, and then I'm like, oh wait, they don't know this. They don't. This problem's going to happen. Then those things come up in your mind when you're working. You're like, oh, I forgot to mention this.
yeah,
Nothing. There's no forgetting. It's the checklist. Oh, this is missed. Okay, call the builder back. Get him to fix it before we show up. The subs know to get paid within the time frame with the payment terms that we agreed on in the contract.
mhm,
Everything is just now. It's just laid out to where I could just see it from a bird's eye view and take action. I'm
that's
very
great.
grateful. It's unbelievable where we're at so far. But half a year now. We're a year and a half coming up, a year and a half in
Yeah,
business. Gonna
yeah,
do probably over 2 million this year, which was our
definitely.
goal. And I want to scale to 2 to 5 to 10 to 100 million one day. But
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like what you mentioned. It's easier to manage when you're scaled. It's easier to take a look at your business when your business is actually growing and flourishing, and see where you need to move different departments. I'm starting to see that's possible. It was just an idea of when I was younger, like I'm gonna be a billionaire one day. But it's like, no,
how?
realistically, how am I gonna do it?
Yeah,
Here's the systems, what we need to do. You have the job board before you even start, the mindset and the architect of like what your business is going to look like, what the what different departments are going to look like, all of that. It's like I see the vision. Even working with you for 3 months, I still see the vision where we're going to be.
mhm, it's
And when
awesome.
California blows up, gosh, that $2 million a year business will be
Yeah,
triple because of the
yeah,
profit here.
yeah,
It'll be a $6 million business. Doing the exact same thing I did in Oregon, be a $6 million a year business here.
yeah. That's great.
You know,
That's great. And you'll know what the profits are before you even start the jobs. You're going to know what your profit is for the year before you even start. And that's one big thing I push on, man, is like profit is huge, and so many people overlook that. A lot of people will reach out to me and they say, oh, I need to raise capital. I'm bringing on a partner. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You don't need to raise capital. You need to make profits and you use your profits as capital. So like you need to pre-plan into your jobs making a profit. And so many people don't. They just look at it like they're making a wage. What was your estimating process like before? Did you know like profits and what to add on and how to figure all that out,
I
overhead and all that?
gosh, I remember sending you a picture of a sheet. I would just figure
I
like I
remember
just
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I told you to
ran the
call me.
numbers.
Yeah, we weren't
Yeah,
even working together then. You just like sent me a picture. What do you think of this quote? And I was like, dude, you need to call me. Let's get on the phone. And then we spent like an hour on the phone together.
yeah, it was. I would look at a job and go, okay, the hanging, the taping, the scrap, the texture, the markup, a little bit of it, the profit. I was always at like 10%, 8% profit was shown on it.
Yeah.
So
Were you even making that much though at the end?
no, because what would happen is I'll take a little bit for me to pay my bills, and I'm wondering why is my bank account low,
Yeah.
you know? And not and here's the thing is like your pricing, it's not taking advantage of anyone. It's the same pricing scale for different jobs. It's the same markup for a small job to a big job. It's that same markup. The difference of it is okay, the job could be 100,000 for 30%, or bring up 100,000 30%, 35%, or it could be a $10,000 job, or even a $200 job, or even a patch, a fistful size patch. Like it's the same pricing to know I need to pay myself, I need to pay the overhead, and money's put in the business bank account.
Yeah.
We weren't doing that. It was, oh, we made money. Like sometimes I'd be like, oh, dude, we made 20 grand, and the next month is gone. I'm like, what happened?
You didn't make any money the next month. That's what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what was happening. Where it's like, okay, these jobs were, but the markups and how you price it is where when we do get the big jobs, then we have that safety net of knowing, okay, if we have a slow month, we're still fine.
Yeah.
That depends on your spending habits. My spending habits, I save my profits, and then months where we're slow, I could pay our employees just for sitting, just because of just making sure they're taken care of.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't do that when I didn't. I was giving them my money, and then I wasn't taking anything. Then the wife's pissed, and everyone's
Yeah.
mad. Hey, whoa, why are you just giving money away? Like now,
Yeah.
it's like it's different.
Not a good spot to be in. Okay. Everything has to do with systems, man. Like your next goal was to have a hiring process and be able to hire good people. And like, that's all a system too.
Yeah,
We've given
definitely.
you the job descriptions, the SOPs, the checklist. That's all helped you be able to hire better people because you can literally say, I'm looking for someone to fill this position. This is the job description. These are your duties and responsibilities. This is how we get this done using this SOP. This is how we, keep you accountable. Like, it's all just a system, man. Everything is systems as soon as you grow. Like once you get past that 500,000 point, it's all systems.
Exactly. Exactly.
What's
That's
your
that's
what's your hiring process like now?
hiring process is like we're halfway automated, learning from you, but it's more of the contract. We're hiring more subs due
Mm-hmm.
to where we're still growing, to where there's times where we don't need to bring on more in-house employees.
Mm-hmm.
But the hiring process, fixing it with the current employees, and when we hired our second employee, going straight on payroll. Like I would just do paper checks and like 1099, but then learning like, dude, get that check written, like put them on payroll, direct deposit. Did that with the one employee. Flirt, like now he knows how to clock in on the app, and now I'm slowly bringing all the other employees to the software. Now subs, now we're figuring out how to direct deposit with subs. Overall, the hiring process has changed due to implementing the direct deposits, not
Mm-hmm.
running around every Friday trying to pay your employees.
Yeah, but
Your
you get told
subs,
fast.
yep, your subs, making sure that they're getting paid, and when they get paid, it's not up right when the job's finished. So then you try and track them down to come back and fix. Hey, you didn't put the metal on.
Yeah.
That was happening. Like it's like we didn't even know if the metal was on when we hired the scrapper,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's taking boxes of metal, thinking it's garbage. And it's like, where's the metal? It's just it gets crazy when you're starting to scale and not have zero system. When I thought I was scaling.
You just don't know, right? And like you kind of know it in your head what's supposed to be done, but you think that other people are going to know too. And like, I was in the same position as you at one point, and I just screwed everything up. And I'm like, I can't keep doing this, not making profit. How do I change it, right? And I would just constantly be trying to improve. How can I make things better? How do I make things easier on myself? And I just, like I said, I felt my way through the dark, and now this is why I do this because I can help people like you grow really quick and not have to, learn all those lessons. And maybe shit went really south and you just like give up, because it's so hard and you're not making any money. I'd like for people to avoid that as much as possible because drywall can be a tough trade. But what I've done is turn it into a great trade, I think. And we've hired like really good people in our company, and we have like really good organization. People enjoy working for us. We pay really well, and that's what I want it to be. And not all drywall companies are like that. There's lots out there that are like, they're screwing you on footage and on hours, and they don't treat you very well. And I really want to change the industry and like turn it into another direction. That's kind of my goal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the hiring process with the subs too, like we mentioned, the contracts,
Mm-hmm.
that has changed. Payment terms, that has
You
changed.
were, you were fucking paying guys like before they were even done.
Draws, or like that Friday, they're finished on Thursday, or getting paid the next day.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you're running right there
I
to give
haven't
them a
had eyes
check.
on it, you
Yeah,
know?
and you haven't even looked at it.
No, it's just going off trust, but then trust can only get you so far in this trade of knowing, just trusting which subs, what to use, how to do it, where to go, as little as, okay, we have two more extra sheets. Whose job is it to bring them?
Yeah,
Like who? Okay, if we have extra screws, whose job is it?
yeah.
Then they're
What do
texting
you,
me. Then they're texting our PM. Then they're texting our assistant. It's like there was just no system. They
now
didn't
there's a
know
problem.
what to do. So now it's like we put an employee handbook together. Here's paid holidays. Here's where you're going to be. Here's what you need to send to us. Your workman's comp, making sure everything's good. It's just like now it's just getting to when we get bigger, then it's just automating it how you did it.
Yeah, yeah. Mine's completely automated, and that's how you attract the good guys. is by having those systems in place. When like you go to hire somebody, you're like, this is our company manual, and they read through this and they're like, wow, this is like super organized. I know exactly what I get for holidays. It's not a guessing game, you know. And a lot of times you'll go work for somebody, it's a bit of a guessing game of what's going to happen, and everything goes through the boss's. You know, he's making all the decisions, and you never know what decision he's going to make that week. You know, is he going to be lenient with me and let me have the holiday, or are we working holidays? We don't know. And that's why, yeah, the company manual really just lays everything out and makes it easy on everybody. It takes the stress off of you having to answer questions about which holidays we get, right? Like, how many times did I used to answer that goddamn question of like, you know, which holidays do we get? Well, now it's just in the company manual of which holidays are. What's the one holiday? Everybody thinks it's in Canada. Everyone thinks it's a holiday, but it's not actually a holiday. And like, it's always confusing every year. Same as like Easter. Do you get the Friday off or the Monday off? You're supposed to get the Friday off. It's usually Good Friday you get off.
It would be the day. It's the day, whatever it falls on.
Yeah, like usually it's the Good Friday that you're supposed to get off, and you don't get the Monday off or something. But then it's like a government holiday on the Monday, so there's always confusion around that. But we have everything in the company manual, and like if anyone has a question, refer to the company manual. Don't ask me. And you know, our PMs and stuff used to get bogged down with those questions too. And we're like, stop answering those questions. Just tell people, refer to the company manual. Everything that you need is in there. If it's not, let us know, and we're going to add it. Right.
Exactly.
So that helps with the hiring process. Okay, your last goal was to hit 2 million. We know you're already going to hit 2 million.
Yeah.
You literally sold $1 million in 45 days.
Yeah.
Yo.
No, it's crazy, man. It doesn't seem real. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? I put the work in. We're still putting the work in. And like I said, my job is just to make sure every other month, I could check in, drive to the location, make sure vehicles are maintained, you know, office is looking clean, the sites, checking up on a job, making sure everything's good, doing those weekly meetings. It's just putting that into the work. But yeah, we're growing fast, getting up there, you know, it's manageable. It's not like I'm growing too fast to where I don't know what to do. I know exactly what to do. I just ask you the question. If I don't know, I just ask you the question.
Now, if we didn't work together and you experienced that growth, would you have handled it?
It probably wouldn't have came. Realistically, guys my age, it probably would have came 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
But then learning all the difficulties that you went through,
yeah,
you know, it probably wouldn't have been there. But now, overall, man, you have to have a mentor. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you want to grow, especially you're in business, like what business grows within a year fast in construction? It's hard to like really grow fast in construction, knowing what to do, because you could lose a lot of money. A lot of companies go bankrupt.
Yeah,
I think that's where it's like, I hope I never go in bankruptcy, but it's knowing that's doing what we need to do, hiring, putting in the profit margins, putting everything. If I follow the profit margin, if I follow the system that you put for the estimating, then we're not going to have that problem.
No,
it's just,
I don't think that profitable companies go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you were to look at the companies that go bankrupt, a lot of them aren't making enough profit, and they're taking jobs just to take jobs and to keep guys busy, and they don't really know what's going on with their pricing. And that's what happens. They end up not making any money, and you know, you're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, and that's what tips the boat over. Eventually it catches up to you, right? But if you're making a profit and you're putting some money away, you've got some working capital because you've made some profits, everything should be good. Just keep getting work and, you know, doing work and making profits. And I don't know, business is pretty easy at this point, man. It hasn't always been this way. I'll say that has not always been this way, but like you said, like having a mentor, key to growth. That's how I went from 2 million to 6 million. I got stuck at 2 million for years because everything went through me and I could not grow anymore because I would have exploded. And then finally I hired a coach and I signed up with them for a year and I started working with them. And a lot of the stuff I help you implement, they helped me implement, right? Like with job descriptions and things like that. They weren't drywall specific, but I took what I could and it gave me the basis of what to do. And yeah, like when I stopped, you know, I used to estimate in my spare time on evenings and weekends. I'd be running jobs all day, running here, running there, and estimate jobs on my evenings and weekends. And once I hired an estimator, then she was now estimating 40 hours a week. And that's what helped fuel our growth, right? Because now we're pricing jobs I would have never got to before. And that really helped. And you're experiencing the same thing, right? Like you hired an estimator and now he's pricing all the time instead of you doing it in your spare time and trying to door knock and everything else. Yeah, It's a
Yeah,
good.
we've learned more without me being in the business. Maybe I was
That's
the problem. No,
that's what happened to me. That's what I used to say. And the more I step away, the bigger it gets. Like it's crazy, you know.
yeah.
And now mine's grown into a monster, and yours is, heading that way too. You guys are 1 year in business, like you're 18 months in the business, and like already you figured out things that took me like 10 to 15 years to figure out. So the growth is going to be fantastic. Okay, let's wrap up. If there was somebody else thinking about joining Drywall CEO Academy, working with us, and maybe they're on the fence, what would you tell them?
If I could speak to, even a like-minded individual like myself, or even ones that are even thinking about starting a drywall company, I would say take the risk and just go all in with yourself and knowing, and go all in with having a mentor. You have to take, sometimes you're not ready, but that's the point. In training, in Doug's trainings, what I've learned is we talk about the mindset. The mindset is crucial in the beginning, having the proper mindset. If you don't feel like you have the proper mindset, this is for you. If you don't know how to estimate, this is for you. If you don't even know how to set your company up, this is for you. And that's what I did. I've been talking to Doug for months, and my thing was I was still into another mentorship program, but then I wasn't getting the benefits out of that mentorship program. So I said, you know what, let's go, Doug. Like now's the time. And I would not look back. I wish I invested all that money into Doug at the time, but I didn't know Doug at that time. But now I do. Going back on it, looking forward, it's just take that risk, commit, and just jump all in, even if you don't know. Even if you don't even know how to estimate, even if you don't even know how to get your contractor's license, if you're in a state that has a contractor's license, even jump in it just to learn the business to see if it's something that you want to do. Mm-hmm. That's what I've learned is no matter if you don't want to start the business, if you want to start the business, then you can see if you even want to jump into this industry. Mm-hmm. If you want to be a taper or a hanger and you want to just do the labor side of it, still you need to know how you're charging, because then you just, at the end of the day, you're just getting taken advantage of. Yep. And step by step, Doug has every single thing, from a brand new business to a business that's doing what he's doing. There's just always an answer. There's always teachings on how to work around it for employees, for subs, for anything that you'll go through. I believe 100% that just jump all in. Just jump all in. Spend the money.
That's great. And we were talking about this before we jumped on here, and it was about taking action on it too, right? Like I can tell you everything in the world, but if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen. And like you've been a great example of taking action and listening to what I teach, right?
Yeah, because I had to. I don't want to be that guy that was like, hey, oh, how are you doing this week? How are you doing that week? I wanted to bring something to the table. Just as much as you're bringing something to the table, I wanted to be the case study showing that, look, here's what you do in action. There's companies probably grow way further, but I'm just focused on honing in my craft. And that's what I've learned from you, is just dialing in the system.
Yeah. That's what's great about those group calls, is the accountability and the showing up. And like, you don't want to show up and be like, oh, I didn't work on anything this week, and like, I didn't make any gains. I didn't make any improvements. Well, because you're not putting any action in. So it helps keep you accountable, right? Like you start to become kind of friends with these people, even though you just met them online. They're doing the same things you're doing. Like when you jumped on, there's, a couple people that were doing a bit more than you. There's a couple of people doing a bit less, but it's like good because you can kind of see the struggles and issues that other people are having and the wins that they're having too, which helps, ramp you up too, right? You see other people winning. They're like, yeah, I just won this job and we're doing this and we're doing that. Then you want that too.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. Was raw. It was very raw of showing, here's what I'm going through. And there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Like judgment. There's no judgment in it. If it's anyone that I've seen through the process that so far that's gone through the mentorship, like there's things like, okay, like, oh, you know what? I didn't have a question this week, but so-and-so had a question and they got the answer. That was the answer I needed. That connected the dot to another question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I liked about it. Even if I didn't have a question that week, or if I had a couple questions, stay on the call, listen to what everyone has to say. And I noticed like, okay, oh, then that connected a dot to this.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think the best thing is too, it's like drywall focused, which is very hard to find. I've been in a couple mentorships myself, and it was like plumbers, electricians, carpenters, everybody. And you don't really, like, let's be honest, we don't really relate to electricians. So just, having drywallers and like just drywall specific is awesome, I think. And man, I wish I had something like this for myself years ago, because I was on my own, man. Like, you know, I was 25 doing like over 100 houses a year, and I had no one to talk to and no one to ask questions to. I was just like figuring out. That's how I came up with all these checklists and everything, because I was like, how do I do more with doing less? Because I need to work 24 hours a day. So that's why all of this was
Yeah,
born. And then obviously, you know, me being able to help other people get through this is incredible. So
exactly.
okay, man. Glad to have you on here. It's been a great 3 months. Looking forward to see what you do from here on out, because you've made such
Yeah,
progress in 3 months. It's insane. So
I appreciate
we'll
it.
see where you go, man. It's going to be good.
So, hey, I appreciate you, appreciate what you taught me, and I'm just a product of the system.
Right on, man. Okay, take care.
I see you.